All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Round 4 Division 1 action here at ZRL. It's Sunday night, and tonight we're racing on the streets of Baku in Azerbaijan. 20 turns around what's become an incredible track for really hard racing, tough overtakes, very technical. Ton of storylines here in ZRL going into Round 4 include Alfa Romeo coming along with their first Division 1 win of the season last week in Portugal. Marc-Olivier Bastien coming through with the W, put on a clinic in front of the whole field. Tonight, John Ranger is off, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by Nathan Doan in the booth. Nathan, look, man, appreciate you stopping in. What are some storylines, man? What are you looking at today going into Baku?
Past couple of seasons, we've been looking at Hudson Pool domination, and it's no different this season. He's got 95 points. He's 26 points ahead of second place, and that is I forgot how to pronounce his last name,
Boyu?
but he's in the yes, and his Aston Martin teammate is right behind him, and they're in the lead of the championship. Aston Martin 136 points, and we'll see what kind of battles that we can see between the Aston Martins and the Red Bulls. I think on paper, Red Bulls are definitely faster, but Aston Martin's always keep it on track and get the good points. So we'll be keeping an eye on those people, as we'll also be keeping an eye on Mercedes, 10th in the standings actually with 39 points. We'll be looking to see if they can make up any ground here in Division 1, because that is definitely hurting them in the combined constructors.
Yeah, it's been tough. They've all gotten caught up in incidents, right? It's not like Luca and Luke haven't had the pace, but it just seems like there's always something, and they come to they find themselves in the back of the pack frequently. So we'll hop in with a couple guys going on their out lap. I think that Luca is actually out first, um, and we will ride along with him for a little while. Quality's a little different at this track, right? Because it's so long. I mean, the usual lap is maybe what, a little over a minute and a half, Nathan, right? So with an out lap of maybe almost 2 minutes. So you really got to time your runs quickly. You're really only going to have time for three. And, if you can get a fresh set on that last run, the timing's really important.
Yes, exactly. 1 minute and 40 seconds is what the lap times we saw were in D2, D3, D4. But we're thinking that it's going to be a bit faster. Maybe we'll even hit the 38s this week. But yes, you really need to time your runs, because the outlap takes so long just because you need to warm the tires, and it's a slow track generally in the second sector, so you need to get through there quick. And yeah, only time for 3 runs on this track, but you wouldn't really need any more, because 3 laps is all you need with the great track evolution on qualifying in this track. And so a little bit different from the settings you would see in like time trial, where most drivers practice their hot laps, because we're in sunset conditions, which is realistic to what F1 runs in real life. And time trial, normally you run in midday, so we'll see what these drivers can produce as in terms of lap times, as Luca Mariotis has started his lap.
Yeah, Luca's on his first heater. It comes to the turn one left-hander. A little bit of traffic up ahead of him. We'll see. They should have a lot of time to get out of the way. As we see, it looked like maybe an Alfa Romeo on the runoff there. I'm not too sure. Or maybe it was a Ferrari of Ryan Newton. So Luca on the front stretch. So 2 DRS zones here. A lot of overtaking possibilities, right? But a lot of very technical as well, right? So not only is the straight line speed so important here in Baku, as Luca comes into a little bit of traffic, it looks like that Aston Martin trying to best get out of the way. I think he's okay. It didn't look like he was hindered too much by it as he comes along the second DRS zone at the end of Sector 1. This is a little tricky chicane, too, going up into the infamous castle section ahead in what I believe is turn maybe 13 or 14. You could take a lot of curb there before the castle section, right?
Yeah,
And I
let's
feel
see
like
him
this,
take curb now.
yeah,
Sorry
almost a
about
little,
that.
little traffic in the
Oh,
Alpha Tower.
it's
Oh, it looks like a
McLaren
McLaren was
around.
around, too. So a lot of action in front of Luca as he's setting his first lap. Between all that, man, he probably lost a couple tenths just looking at everything.
Yeah, I know I'd be very distracted by a car who's around, and that was Joaquin Torres in the McLaren. So now what you want to see as a McLaren driver, you want to heat up the tires, but not by spinning around. As Luca comes down into the final corner, he'll have a long straight ahead of him. I believe it's the second longest straight, maybe even the longest straight in Formula 1. But we'll see what he can produce in terms of lap time. He's got 20% battery, good enough to take him to the line. He's hitting top speeds of around 211 miles an hour, maybe even a bit more to that. Across the line, what's he going to produce? It's going to be a 139.7.
Wow, already into
Good
the
lap.
139s.
Yeah, I wonder to see if any other drivers can put up lap times such as that, as Oral Era Carvalho has set a 1:39.8. So times will be close, as that's the AlphaTauri of Nova. He's out of
AlphaTauri's
the
out.
session.
Yeah,
He's
I'm not sure.
crashed in the Yeah, he's crashed in that left to right. I'm not really sure how that could have happened, but it looks like Luca will retire from the session. As he actually did he crash?
I'm not sure if he
He did. He
crashed or
did
what. Wow, he
crash.
did. So that one lap will stand. So already two drivers crashed out of it. We just hopped in with last week's winner, Marc-Olivier Bastien, and P17 had a really nice tow from Eric Carvalho. So around the first stretch, he just set a purple sector one. If that sticks, Peter Giordano with 1:39.5. So these times are blistering early. I'm not sure, Nathan, if you remember what the pole time was. Um, he comes really close to the wall there. I mean, as Cal's in the 138s, he just put in a 138.9. Man, track evolution. These times are starting to tumble really early.
I mean, it only gets faster from here, surely, and what a great lap from Cal. He's 5 tenths clear of the Ferrari, who we thought would actually put it in a great lap, and he did. But compared to the pole times of, say, Division 3, they're already faster than what Division 3 could produce, as Hudson Poole is not faster than Cal.
No, he's not faster by. Looks like about half a tenth. He comes across the line. We're on the Alfa Romeo. I think that's Joaquin Torres maybe behind him too, about to put in his first heater. So we'll let Mark finish his and then hop over to Guac. The other Alfa Romeo driver puts in P4, two ahead of his teammate. And Joaquin Torres right behind him puts together a 140.7. So that might not really be competitive here for the top few spots just so far. Era pulls into the pits. Looks like the next one across the line might be Ryan Newton in the Ferrari, or is that Peter on his in lap?
Must be Peter Anderson lap.
Uh,
As our P2 in the championship, Maxime Bolio has not put in a great time. I mean, it is a banker, but he's down in 12th position. Not what you want to see if you're in such high championship contention. So that is the first lap for almost all of these drivers, other than Freddie, Jason Pelletier, Light, and Colin Edwards. So we'll see what in a little bit what the times look like and how big track evolution is on this track. I remember that I could produce a time that was 2 tenths quicker in my second lap, and then I went 2 tenths quicker on my third run. So maybe we'll see something like that. But if we do, that will mean that we're around the low 138s, which is just absolutely insane.
yeah, 138s. I mean, that's crazy. We're on Ryan Newton as he comes in the pits. So Freddie, Jason Pelter, Lights, and Klinsman have yet to set a time along with Chase Wilson, but he won't get the opportunity to out of crashing out earlier in the session. So Luca will be no better than P6, but it's hard to see that time sticking with all the track evolution to come. So let's hop on with Maxime, I believe, is on and in lap. I think the McLaren behind him of Joaquin Torres is also on a in lap. So I'm not sure if anyone's really on a heater right now.
No, I know that we'll see Lights and Colin Edwards go on a hot lap soon, but I cannot wait until then because I'm very excited to see. Well, actually, we got some cars coming out of the pit that looks like Freddie Razzle and the Haas, so great to see more cars coming out on the track. And we got a few reserves today. Let me just pull that up. We'll see. Okay, so our reserves are. Well, we actually had someone stand in for the reserve, so reserving for the reserve at Ferrari, and that is Ryan Newton in the Ferrari. Originally supposed to be CPT 40, but he could not make it. Then we have Zarki in the Haas team. He's currently 10th, and you know that's actually a pretty good uh, position to be in. But his teammate is not in a good position. He's stuck in the runoff right now, down to turn 3. So a little clumsy mistake from the guy who claims to be the best British driver and commentator in the league.
Yeah,
But other than
he's had good
okay.
pace so far this season for sure, but probably had a good result in Abu Dhabi as well as in Portugal last week. Luckily made that mistake on the outlap rather than on a heater. So let's hop on with Klinsman here. Colin Edwards in for his first heater in the Alpine. Team with Jason Pelter. Now Klinsman actually reserved for Haas last week, and I think he had a pretty good showing as well. Did he reserve for Haas?
I believe he did, but now he's
Yeah.
reserving for Alpine, the team that he owns. So actually, is it Jason Pelter or is it Klinsman who is the team principal of the
Jason
team?
Pelter, yeah. So Pelter's the team principal of Alpine. So they're looking to definitely improve from their current times here without a banker. Klinsman. So there's such a mixture here of, kind of needing the downforce for these hard corners, right? And then, but you can't just add too much for the straight because the overtake zones are so significant that even if you conserve battery, it can be pretty tough to defend.
Yes, so for Klinsman, this is his first lap, and it's actually quite late in the session. But right now, he's not looking too incredibly quick. No offense, of course. But if he can't really get a lap in here, then he'll have to go out again, and that's his only chance to improve against all the other drivers around him. For now, I'd expect maybe 13th for Klinsman, but we'll see what kind of lap he can put in as more cars are coming out on their out laps to start their second lap of the session.
Yeah, so it'd be hard for Klinsman to maybe get 3 runs here. He'll get this, and then he'll go in and probably have to wait a little bit to set up his second and final. He's going to come across the line here with a 140.049, so spot on there, right? He was around the top 10. P9 so far for Colin Edwards. Let's hop in with Lights. He's reserving in the Williams. He's got a 139.3. Good for P4 for the reserve driver. Williams looking great. Now, I was watching the Division 2 race last night, and the Williams qualified P1 and P3. So the pace there at the Williams team has been very good of late. Lights locking up P4.
Yeah, I mean, a great lap for the reserve driver of Lights. He's a Mercedes driver in Division 2, and that is exactly what kind of performance you should be expecting from a driver of such high caliber. He will be maybe having another lap here, and I wonder if he can improve maybe into the 38s. If not, he's still in a good position in the session so far. And it looks like everyone is on their hot laps now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Everyone's on their hot laps. I'm with Peter Giordano on the Ferrari, who's up by 2/10. He got a nice toe from the Alfa Romeo in front of him. We'll see if it sticks. He improved by 2/10 over 139.3. He takes P4 from Lights. So Peter looking good pace-wise after a tough start to his season in Portugal. Remember, team principal Ferrari was out of the country for a couple weeks, so Portugal was his first race, and he struggled a little bit to say the least. But he's looking good so far early on in Baku. Top in with Freddie Rizal. This is going to be his first heater. Did we catch him in time? He's going to cross the line with a 139.3, and he takes P5, just 600ths behind the Ferrari of Peter Giordano. Now that Trek Evolution is really starting to have an effect.
Ooh, Hudson's had a moment in his lap here. He won't be able to improve this lap for sure, but yeah, he's backed off in his lap. He's coming into the pits now. He's going to go on his third lap now. It looks like we have a yellow flag. Really not sure what that's for. That looks like maybe a car who's run out of fuel. Indeed it is. It's Lights. And who jumped off the charts there? Was that
Aaron Allmeyer, P5 in the Aston Martin, just split Peter Giordano and Freddie Rizal. So he's 3 thousandths ahead of Freddie Rizal, along with Marc-Olivier Bastien in the Alfa Romeo, last week's race winner. You'll hear me saying that a lot. I'm just a little bit biased. He's going to cross the line here. Can he improve? By almost 2/10, a 139.4. That's good enough so far for P8. Let's hop in with Ryan Newton. Is he on a heater as well? I thought I saw a split there that was negative. We'll see. A little bit of traffic there as the Haas tries to get out of the way. There may have been an incident that we missed. I thought I saw a wing out there. Oh, that was the Alpha Tauri. I wonder if Cal may have had an incident.
Yeah, I'm looking at his car now. Yeah, he has no front wing, so interesting for our provisional pole sitter. But yeah, that definitely cost Ryan maybe a bit of time. We'll see what he does when he comes to the line here. He's got no traffic ahead of him, so he shouldn't be losing any more time.
It should be good. It was definitely distracting. Kind of like turned the corner. Oh. We were on board with him, and there was definitely something. And
he's out of fuel now.
If he's out of fuel, so he's not even going to make it to the end of his hot lap.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Maxime is up by a second. Let's hop in. Aaron Altmaier, I believe, is on his in lap. Mark's going to be on his in lap as well. Era on an out lap. Trying to catch someone on a heater here. And I believe Maxime Beaulieu is going to be the next time. As there's a collision with Duncan McCamick. Joaquin Torres with a 5-place grid penalty. I'm not sure what happened.
He's got no front wing.
Oh, Duncan doesn't. Yeah, he's invalidated there. Apparently P13. Ooh, I don't know. He's got to pull in right now and then pull right out. he may have time to get out for another run. You have to try.
Yeah, so I believe what happened is that Guac might have just gone into the back of Duncan McCamick. I don't know if he had an incident, but Duncan's got his front wing. Guac doesn't, so interesting to see a collision in qualifying. We hadn't had too many of those. I believe we did have one in D3 though, and yeah, that's just not what you want to see as a driver.
No, definitely
But
not.
3 minutes left of this qualifying session. Drivers will be shortly coming out for the third lap of the session. But drivers like, let's see, who's this out on a lap? Zarky is already out on his out lap, so we'll see what he can produce in terms of lap time. Needs to, as
Yellow in sector 1. Who is that? Duncan McCamick out?
Yeah, I don't believe he's crashed. I think he's just retired the car. I believe that's a rule that you can't do that, but, he's admin. He can call the shots here.
Yeah,
Sarky.
someone will submit a ticket too if they feel that it impacted something. So it looks like Arrow's going to be the first one on his last heater, if I'm correct. Jason Pelter looks like he's on an out lap. Here's Arrow. There's that yellow flag. There's Duncan in the runoff. So I don't think that impacted his lap at all. He's curious timing from Arrow, right? Because he's gonna, he's gonna be the first one. He's gonna get minimal track evolution for lap number 3 here. Fixed that chicane really nicely, sacrificing the exit of the first, of course, for a faster exit on the second, along this little straight here before the castle section. Cuts that curve really nicely. Got to be very careful. It looks like he was clean. No invalidation there as he comes up to the castle section. Almost kisses that curb as well. It's going to be so technical around here as you get into the meat of Sector 2. We'll see if we can get a split up here to see if he is improving on his time. Jason Pelter in the Alpine getting out of the way. And he needs an outlap, and he needs it quick, because he currently has no time in the board in P19. Here's Era coming up to the end of Sector 2. We'll see if he improves on his time. What's he got? He's 8/10 up. Era is 8/10 up. That would put him around the P2 or P3 range. So we'll stick with him for a little while as we have another train of cars get ready on their outlap. Looks good now, but just as you're saying, Nathan, I mean, he can improve by 8/10 here, but that might still not be enough if the evolution is that much better. Comes across the line at 1:39.0.
Same time as the Glock there, actually.
Yeah, wow, good for P4. Same exact time as Luke Locklear. Luke will get it, of course, because he set the time earlier in the session.
Yeah, I'm looking at the AlphaTauri of Cal here. He's currently the fastest car out on track, and he's starting his hot lap now. I did see something with the fuel, and I don't think it's of much concern now. But this train of cars in the Sector 3, they've been causing a bit of ruckus, because I think it was Ryan Newton and I believe Jason Pelter as well. I don't know if they had it coming together or they were just both very close on the track and pulled off to the side, but they were stopped on track pretty much, as we have a few people coming to the end of the laps, I believe.
Yeah, big train of cars here. Klinsman's on his out lap. Let's hop in with the McLarens.
Whoa.
See where that is. That's Carl Beza. Here's Guac. Improves by a little bit less than a tenth. Still only good for P17. It looks like there's a yellow. Is that a Red Bull and an Alpine that got tangled up?
That's Hudson Poole. He is out of the session.
Wow. Hudson Poole out of the session. He won't be better than P2. Cal on provisional pole. He's behind on his first time by about a tenth. As he goes in to the end of Sector 2, we'll see if we can get an updated split. Ooh, almost touched the wall on the right-hand side before Sector 3. We'll see if he's improving at all. He's got just over a tenth. Behind him, I believe, is the Haas of Freddie Rizal. It is. I'm not sure if he'll be close enough to get any sort of a tow. And behind Freddie Rizal is the Ferrari of Peter Giordano. So we'll hop in with Cal. We'll get these guys in quick succession here. Cal improves by almost 2/10. Here's Freddie Rizal coming across the line. Is he going to compete with Cal? No, it's a 1:39.2, good enough for P7. Peter Giordano just put in his best lap of 1:39.1. We'll stick at P5, and that's as good as it's going to get. Let's hop in with a Merc here of Luke Locklear. He's also improved. Marc-Louis Bastien puts in P2, right above Hudson Poole. Almost pole for the second straight week. We're around with the Merc. Lights put on P4 while we were talking and watching the Mercedes. But Luke goes and steals the front row position away from Marc-Olivier Bastien by 5 thousandths.
Maxime only P11, so didn't improve a lot on his time, but what a lap from all these drivers in the front pack now, because I saw Luke, actually no, it was Marc-Olivier Bastien. He went very quick, but Luke did him one better by just 5 milliseconds.
Yeah,
That just shows
5
you how
milliseconds.
tight the times are here.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's tight. I mean, let's look at that. The top, top, let's say 9 guys separated by half a second with Freddie Rizal and P9. So let's do a quick recap as those came in. Cal P1, Luke Locklear, Lux in the front row there in P2, Marc-Olivier Bastien, Hudson Poole, P3 and P4. Lights, the reserve driver in P5, Eric Carvalho, Aaron Altmaier, Peter Giordano, Freddie Rizal, and Ryan Newton, the reserve, round out your top 10. Disappointing qualifying for Maxime and Luca. We're used to seeing them higher up in the field. Klinsman's a reserve in P14, Zarki a reserve as well in P15. So these are all respectable performances, of course, here in D1. But a lot of action there at the end. I don't remember the last time I saw 3 or 4 cars DNF out of a race.
Yeah,
Or sorry, qualifying.
I mean, big names. I mean, I guess there's Joaquin Torres, but like Jason Pelter, sorry, and Hudson Poole DNFing is just not something you want to see. But their
Yeah, so
positions were maintained as go ahead.
sorry, I'm
Oh,
seeing everyone leave the session here. I believe it's because somebody joined late. So if you're joining us and you've been following along the earlier division races this week and last week, desync has been an enormous issue for leagues everywhere, really. So we're going to take a brief intermission here as we get the new lobby set up. Evening, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us here. We got the lobby all reset, doing our best to avoid any potential desync issues. No formation lap, so as soon as we start, it's going to be quick. And we'll have Nathan Doan take you into turn one once everybody gets into the lobby. Um, how's the action been on the early part of the race, Nathan, from what you've seen so far? Chaotic?
Yeah, well, yeah, but we've got a few headlines here. So Ryan Newton, he qualified in the Ferrari. He was not meant to do so. He's in the Williams this time, but I believe his position will stand as Cody Lawrence subs in for Ferrari, and he will be at the back of the pack. I believe so. And so far, we're gonna have a good race on our hands. We've had a lot of qualifying jumps. We've had a driver who was 16th in season 4 in Division 2, and now he's on pole in Division 1. So great job from Cal, as he is our pole sitter for today. We had some incidents in qualifying, including Hudson Poole, Joaquin Torres, Jason Pelleter. They're all DNF from the session. Luca Marodius, I think that's how you say it, is another one who suffered a qualifying incident. So we have 20 seconds to lights out. Hopefully all the drivers have remembered their setups, because the good setup is crucial here, and you don't want to be on the stock preset for a setup if you're in this track.
Yeah, that's always
So,
tricky. I can almost guarantee you somebody will have forgotten the setup here as we redo all the lobbies.
yep, here we go. 0 seconds to the lights. I'll take it away from here. And so here we go. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights, and lights are out, and away we go. Cal doesn't get a great start, and nor does Luke Locklear. We have a bit of an issue here with Klinsman. He is not in P1, as Luke tries to go down the inside of turn 1. Luke is still alongside Cal, and there's no action in the back. Actually, there is. An Aston Martin is broken, as Luke Locklear goes into the lead, and that's Marc-Olivier Bastien and Hudson Poole gain past Cal as his lights now. He got pushed off in turn 2, and what great action we've had. Is that maybe Marc-Olivier Bastien going for a move? No, it is not. It's lights
Oh!
going on to move into Hudson Poole, and Hudson Poole is getting lifted, and he has broken his wing into turn 3.
Wow!
And that's his virtual safety car. And that
We were
was
on.
absolutely wild.
That was wild. We were on with Hudson Poole as we saw it. I'm not sure if it was Cal that got in the back of him, but we were on board with Hudson. Saw him get bumped. Saw his car go halfway up the wall, and he definitely has damage there. As you see, the other Red Bull of Duncan McCamick has lagged behind as well. So while the VSC has started, big winners and big losers so far. Aaron Altmaier up 4 positions, up to P3. Luca Marudius up to P5. Great after a qualifying that we're not used to seeing from him. Carl Behrens in the McLaren up 8 spots, along with his teammate Joaquin Torres up 7 himself. Cody Lawrence up 6 from the back. Big losers so far. Hudson Poole down 8 spots through no fault of his own. Really tough incident he had there. Maxime Beaulieu down 7. He must have got caught up there early on as well. Same with Freddie and Duncan down 10 spots and 7 spots respectively. So on the restart, let's hop in with Cal here. And let's go broadcast view. This isn't a full car, right? This should be a VSC. This should be ending soon.
Yes, and what brought out that virtual safety car was something I've never seen in leg racing. I've never seen a car go up in the air like that. But it was Lights who pushed him into the wall there, going down the inside. Just did not make it stick, I think.
Oh, it was Lights.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Williams going for a move as the lights are green. And we are going as Hudson Poole comes into the pits, as does Lights, so it must have been contact between those two. But your driver, Marc-Olivier Bastien, has made it into P2, and he's on the hard tires, so that will be a huge advantage over the Mercedes ahead of him.
Love to see it, yeah.
Oh, we got more incidents. Is that... I have no idea who that was, but whatever happened, it was
okay, Ryan
major.
Newton is in the pits. Right, let's look up. Hudson's in the pits, Red Bull's in the pits. It looks like, oh, they're chilling there. That's where they are. I'm not sure what the incident was. Freddie Rozelle is in the back of the pack for the ones that didn't pit. There's Peter Giordano in the Ferrari. There's another incident. Aaron Altmaier's down a couple spots. I couldn't catch up with him. He's down to P14. 15.
He spun around and he hit the wall just a little bit. He doesn't have damage, as Nova is around as well in the AlphaTauri. Chase Wilson, not what you want to see, as so far big losers as Hudson Poole and Lights down more than 10 positions, as I don't know why, but Duncan Mechanics has been detached from the back of the pack by quite a significant margin to the leader. He's got at least half a minute in there, as so far in the lead we have Luke Locklear. From your two drivers, look at the two Alfa Romeos go. They're both in podium positions, but Cal is very close behind Era. We'll see if he can get DRS on this next lap, and that just brings a smile to your face, doesn't it? Seeing your driver so high
It
up.
really does. I was about to comment, man. Tough day at the office so far for Team Red Bull, which, but by strength you'd think it's probably the best team, but the inverse of that is the Alfa Romeo boys having a fantastic evening so far. Let's call it here, 2 laps in. That's what I like to do. P2 and P3 for Marc-Olivier Bastien and Eric Carvalho, but Cal was on his butt. I'm not sure if he's going to should get DRS last lap, but that gap is closing in on a second. Let's look at the battery for Era. They're about the same. So there could be an opportunity here for the battery to go. Another big winner here is Carl Behrens, up 11 spots. He started P17, and he's hanging out here in the lead-ish DRS train in P6.
Yeah, he's under massive pressure from Luca Mariota. So is that Aaron Altmaier around again?
It is, yeah. We'll hop in with Maxime or actually Hudson. We'll see if we can get a view of it. Maybe no. So Aaron was around. It doesn't look like he has wing damage.
Oh, Jason Pelcher. Jason Pelcher into the runoff in turn 3. He's lost multiple positions as a result from that. And Cody Lawrence, he's made up 12 positions from the back of the pack, as I said he was going to be earlier. And Luca is still putting on pressure, but not around here is where you want to be making moves. As there's 2 big DRS trains and then a bunch of broken up packs, as the next kind of close action we have was Lights and Hudson Pool. Hudson Pool making the move on the pit straight. And all these cars are so close together and the section's so tight. I'm really glad that we haven't had any incidents, at least none more than we have had so far. As the 2 Ferraris, they're still in great position from where they were 8th and 20th starting. Now they're in 5th and 8th. To gain 12 positions in Division 1, that's just great driving, as is from Carl Behrens. He's up 10 positions as well. As it looks like Luca made a move on Carl Behrens and we didn't quite catch that. Maybe we did, but Carl is going to have DRS down the straight. He doesn't have the battery advantage on Luca that he might want, but I think right now that the pack's breaking up a little bit, he just wants to stay within DRS of Luca because that is how you save battery on this track. That is how you go faster on this track. As
Yeah,
we
well,
look back, go ahead.
the lead DRS train is behind P3 of Eric Carvalho. It's Cal and Peter Giordano. Cal on the hard tires looking really good so far in P4. If they can stay within DRS range of the Alpha and make those hard tires long, he's going to be really dangerous on the second stint. Really good mixture of strategies here as Zarki and the Haas had to go into the runoff with a little bit of a lockup, so he'll lose a couple positions there. Let's hop back on with Cal because it seems like that's where a lot of the action is right now. Well, a big mixture of tire strategies here. We've seen pretty much 50-50 medium starters to hard starters. Was that how it was in D2 and D3? Is this similar?
No, I believe like the majority of the people in D3 were on the hard tires, and then actually D2 might have been very similar to what we're seeing now, but I believe that the medium to hard strategy is the preferred one here, because that is what the majority of the drivers on. We have, let's see here, that looks like 8 drivers on the hard tires starting. So what the strategy is here on the medium hard is that maybe you want to undercut pitting lap 10 maybe, and if not, then you're hoping for an early safety car or virtual safety car to pit on these tires and just go for the hards for the rest of the race, because the hards are very, very reliable tires around this track. They won't explode like they did to Max Verstappen in 2021.
Right.
But yeah, they're very, very durable tires. As it looks like Cal is actually getting kind of detached from Era. I don't know if he'll have DRS here. We'll check now.
And we'll see if
He
got
doesn't.
it. It does not look like it, right? So that could be really tough for him to make that up. His battery is at 35%. Era's is at 13. So Era's had to dump a lot of battery to try to keep that gap. But now Peter is going to be pressuring Cal pretty significantly, not only on the better tire compound, but also closing that gap pretty significantly. We're on with Freddie, who had a nice gap for a while, but had a little bit moment in Sector 1 of the lap previous. There's another train there. Hudson Poole way in the back sets the fastest lap of a 1:42.3. So his recovery race is well underway. We'll see if he can start to make up some positions. We're on with Guac, who is about to lose P12 to Chase Wilson, the AlphaTauri, and he does. Is he going to be able to stick with him all through Sector 2? This is the technical bits of the track, so you really got to... That gap becomes so precious here as you get into the fast Sector 3.
I have to know real quick. We have Luke Locklear in the lead. That's great from where Mercedes is. I said they were P10 in the standings as they are. And this is going to be great points, 1 and 6. That's going to be huge points to get them out of the last place position. But right now, Cal is actually closing up to Era again. Maybe he'll get DRS or maybe not. But either way, Peter Giordano in the Ferrari, he's going to get very close. But he's dropped out of the second gap that he needs for this DRS advantage to come into play.
He has, and
As
it's like, and Cal isn't really dumping either. I mean, he's at 27, but last lap he was at 35, so it's not like he's blowing all his battery in one lap to try to get that gap. He's increased it to Peter, decreased it to Era. His pace is just good. Peter trying really hard to keep that in. I think he may have made it. Was he clear from the detection zone? We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy that just even though he has a tire advantage, Peter has not closed up to Cal that he should be doing, as Cal is actually very close on the straight, 4/10 with Era ahead having no battery. Although Cal doesn't have a lot of battery himself either, so I don't think we'll see any overtake as we don't. But Klinsmann might be looking at Cody Lawrence here. He's closer and closer, but Cody is just a driver that you do not want to mess with. Or will maybe spin out you and Sid like he did in Brazil Season 5, as we have a lot of cars going through turn 3, which is actually a very dangerous turn if you mess it up and go a bit too tight. As there's Freddie Razzle going around the outside of turns 5, 6 on Klinsmann. What a great move from the Haas
Nice
driver.
pass. Yeah, we were watching Klinsmann put pressure on Cody. Meanwhile, Freddie Rizal in the better tire compound up and stole P9 from him, and now he's going to try to put some pressure on Cody Lawrence as he tries to make those hard tires work. Let's hop in with Maxime, who's racing really hard with lights for P17 down at the back of the field. These guys still racing hard. Remember, here in ZRL, you get points if you finish for classifications 1 through 20. And as we've seen in past seasons, every point matters. So you're going to see these guys fight hard for P7, 8, P17, and 18, just as much as they would be fighting for P1.
Yeah, and Red Bull is... I'm looking at Red Bull here. They're second in the constructors' standings, but look where they are right now. 16th and 20th. That's, if I remember correctly, that's only going to award them 6 points. 6 points when your contenders... Actually, their contenders aren't even doing that well. 15th and 18th. Maybe we can see an underdog constructor. Let me check who that may be.
Well, it could be the Alfa Romeo boys coming out of a P1 and a P9 last week. They're currently sitting 2 and 3. That would be a big chunk of points there.
That would
if
be
all
enough,
similar.
I think, to get them into the lead. As our first pitter is Chase Wilson in the AlphaTauri.
So that's interesting. I just hopped in broadcast view with him.
He's on the mediums.
Yeah, I wonder, I can't tell if he had wing damage or...
He did. They were fixing the wing, but going on to the mediums instead of going on to the hards, that's almost a death sentence for you and your strategy.
I wonder if he's going to try to milk them for all it's worth and hope for a late safety car. That could be the plan. I mean, when the strategy is as convoluted as it just got there, as Lights and Maxime continue to fight. Maxime on the outside here, going to the turn, no contact, they keep it clean. Lights on the outside here, it looks like he's going to have a little run and take the inside line. Oh, a little bit of a bump! A little bit of a bump. Maxime takes it on the outside. No damage. Really good fighting. A little bit of wheel banging. Those positions down at the back of the grid.
Yeah, and other than that great battle, nothing much has changed on track, but I gotta commend Freddie Razzle here. He's got great pace. He's still sticking with Cody Lawrence, a driver that I thought would be going faster. However, his competitors ahead of him are on better tires. But Cal's still in DRS.
Cal, yeah.
And he saved a bit of battery. I believe it's 10%, where Era is losing a lot of battery. So I'll let you take on maybe an overtake that we can see here.
Yeah, we'll see. We're out with Cal right after turn 1. He got the DRS going in there now. He'll go into the second DRS zone here in Sector 1. Got to get a good exit out of here. Can he find the traction? He's got DRS. It looks like Era got a really nice exit himself. Is it long enough to make a move? Definitely not, but it's certainly long enough to shorten that gap to almost 2 tenths. Cal sticks into P4 for now. But that's shaping up to be a battle, I think, throughout the duration of the entire race. Another small gap here. Freddie Rizal on Cody Lawrence, putting in a lot of pressure on Cody. See, these medium tires have started to trickle up the top of the order, save for Marc Bastian and Cal. A lot of them are medium tire runners all the way down to Cody Lawrence. So Freddie may look to make a move here in the beginning of lap 9.
Yeah, further back in the pack, there was a great move from Hudson Poole. He's trying to make up these positions to lessen the blow from Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo here. He made it on Joaquin Torres, who's now P15, as Cal is actually a lot closer than he was, and Peter Giordano is so far back compared to where he was on the previous lap, and he's got Luca for company right behind him. And the battery advantage goes to Luca, so we'll see if we can have a move here on this final straight. It's going to be so close. They're 5/10 apart. Dumping his battery is Luca. Look how close he's getting. He's 3/10 now. He's got the DRS now. He's dumping his battery. Still 14%. Peter knows that he can't defend this for much longer. And it's going to be the inside line. Yes, it is for Luca Merodius. And the Pete has to concede that position. And maybe he'll fight it back as... Ooh, they're going to make a bit of contact. As Peter Giordano goes wide, he locks up.
Wow, we were on broadcast view, and the camera angle was kind of tough. We just saw like kind of a front view of Luca and Peter. So, man, from Peter putting pressure on Cal to now being 2.3 seconds behind Luca in the position that he had previously taken. A little bit of a turn of events here. So, but however, while that was going on, Freddie Rizal took P8 from Cody Lawrence.
Yes, and he absolutely dumped his battery to get that position. He was at like 40% last time I was on with him, and now he's at only 10%. So Cody maybe just trying to preserve his tires, go as fast as he can. As Chase Wilson is out of the session, I have no idea where that is, but it's a safety car, full safety car. That looks like it was actually down at turn 2. I believe he might have just gone locked up right into the wall. Or maybe there's another type of incident, but it does not matter. All these medium runners, I would definitely pit for hard tires.
They're probably coming out. Interesting decision, too, for the hard tire runners. They probably have to stay out, but it's going to be hard for them to hold position for a while. And this is a full-on safety car. So Chase Dino, I couldn't find it on track. I couldn't find the incident, so I'm not sure where it happened.
Turn 2 it was. As this is going to be great for everyone on the medium tires, but crucially, we got Marc Bastian on the hard tires, P2, and we got Cal also on the hard tires. Cody Lawrence, Klinsman, Colin Edwards, Aaron Altmaier, Joaquin Torres, Light, and Duncan McCabe are all going to be not really happy with this the decision that has been given.
Oh, Mark's coming in.
Runners.
The Alfa Romeos are double stacking.
Ooh.
The Alfa Romeos are double stacking. I don't know if they're not in chat together or what, as the AlphaTauri of Cal tries to make a pass in a pit lane, and I guess it worked. But I'm curious how much time Era's going to lose here on the pit. It didn't look like it was too bad, but no, it's an extra few seconds.
What's going on? It looks like he was held by other cars coming out of the
pit.
pit.
Yeah, that is what it looked like, isn't it?
And he had a bad pit stop in general, just missing the turning point. I'm assuming. Like, I saw I think it was the right rear was going on very slowly. But even the hard tire runners that we saw are into the pits, and very interesting that Marc Bastian thinks that these tires can last. I mean, 16 laps with laps under the safety car. He might not be so wrong here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, we've seen the whole field, even the other hard tire, Cody, Klinsman, Aaron Altmaier, Zarki, everybody on the hards pit for the mediums, save for Duncan McCamick, who's got a little bit fresher hards after his incidents early on. But you're going to have a lot of guys trying to make these medium tires fresh. So if I'm Era, if I'm Peter, certainly if I'm Luke Locklear, I like my long-term positioning here.
I mean, I think the biggest winners that we'll see on the safety car restart is definitely Marc Bastian and Cal. And the only driver to stay out on hard tires is Duncan McCamick. So interesting strategy from Red Bull this evening, but Hudson Poole is pit for hard tires. He'll be able to make it easily. So Duncan McCamick is going to be going through a lot of hardships in this race. He's already been through a lot of hardships, actually. This is Ryan Newman. I never really paid attention to Ryan. I thought he would just be having an okay race. But he's 17 seconds back before the safety car as Marc Bastian leaves the session.
Okay. We'll see what's
maybe
going on
some
there. Hopefully it's
desync.
just an issue. And I just saw on my friends list he just popped back online. So it could have been a game crash there. If he can get back in before the safety car end, that'd be a great time for a game crash. If he can't be back in here for the restart, that's the worst time for a game crash, especially when you need to make up track position on medium tires. As Mark goes back into
Oh,
pit again, it's screwing up his strategy.
oh, it's just kind of shambles for Alfa Romeo here.
So what's it going to put him on? I guess a second set of hards or what?
What's he going on to here? Yeah, it's his old hard tires from the start of the race. Oh no.
What a terrible decision.
Actually, a bad decision made by Mercedes as well, putting Luca Mariotis. I did see that he did have wing damage as Duncan pits for medium tires, not really harming his strategy at all because he was down pretty far. As I think we'll have safety car in this lap, but so far not too many headlines under the safety car as there's normally not any anyways. But Luca pitting, he did have wing damage, so I think just an unforced error caused that to happen. But just that's so disappointing for Alfa Romeo. I mean, I'm disappointed. You got to be absolutely
Yeah,
in.
that's got it, right? I mean, because he was in a position where he could have had back-to-back wins on the horizon, right? He could have definitely been in contention for another race win. So now the strategy will be different. Cal's in an interesting position. He's going to be really hot here at the start of the race, surrounded by hard tire runners. If he can manage his tire wear effectively, he may be competitive towards the end of the race. But if you're Luke, if you're Era, you're Peter, you're Carl, you really like where we are. Let's talk about Carl Behrens first. He started P17. Nathan, he's up to P5, and he's on the right strategy and the right compound right now. He's got to be ecstatic with how this race has been turning out.
I mean, hey, I would be too, but we're getting so close. We passed the Sector 3 checkpoint, and Ryan Newton has not closed up. Maybe if he does soon enough, yeah, we'll have safety car in this lap. No worries, as Luke Locklear will lead us away on the safety car restart. Let's go to broadcast camera here. We can get a beautiful helicopter shot here. And let's see what he does, what line he chooses. He's trying to pull a gap quite early in this safety car procedure, actually, so we'll have to wait until the safety car is into the pit, or at least into the entry. And then he can go flat out as he wishes. But Kel is right there. He's ready to pounce on this Mercedes. He knows that he can win from pole position. But can he do it fast enough? As Luke has gotten the jump on Cal actually by about 6/10. As look at Peter Giordano. He's so close to the back of Era Carvalho, but not close enough. He's going defensive as is Freddie Razzle. He taps the back of Carl Behrens. They don't really suffer from that, but Carl Behrens is actually going to make a move on Peter Giordano, backs out of it, as Jason Pelter is going down the inside of Freddie Razzle as well. None of the moves that were made worked out, as we actually have Marc-Olivier Bastien, he's gone off. And he's collided actually with lights.
Wow. From bad to worse for last week's race winner. Now he's in P19. I'm not sure if he has wing damage. We'll see if the broadcast view gives us something nice here. No change in the top five. Saw a little bit of scrapping between Carl and Peter. And I'm not even sure if Mark is back in the session yet. It doesn't look like he has wing damage. Or no, that was an error. We're on with Peter Giordano now, so I'm not sure. Clean into the first castle section. Luke Lockyer with 6/10 of a lead over Cal. Well, let's hop on board with Cal. I'm curious what sort of exit speeds he's getting on those medium tires and if they're a lot better. I'm looking for Cody to maybe take some spots here. Klinsman and Aaron Altmaier to start to put pressure on the guys in P5, 6, and 7 in the next few laps.
We got a huge DRS train. Actually, the DRS hasn't been broken from P5 to P17, so that's great racing
Wow,
action
yeah.
so far. Everyone's kept it together. As Cal is 6/10 behind, I don't know how much time he's going to gain through the straight, but he is looking for his first win. He's on the right tire compound, and Luke is going to be shaking in his boots quite a bit. He knows that he has to get this win for Mercedes to at least be competitive once again. But will he be able to keep the win in his hands, or will it be taken away from Cal? As we actually see Uh, the DRS being broken by Maxime Bolio. Ooh, actually, Zarky might go around, but he doesn't. He locked up quite a bit. Zarky gets overtaken by Luka Rodius, and he goes off into the runoff. How many you want to see for the
Wow.
Haas driver? Beamer NG is going to be absolutely crying now. But oh wait, Cal has made the move on Luke Locklear. We totally missed that, but he made the move stick into turn 3, and that is a great move from Cal. And he's into the lead. He wants to pull a gap as fast as he can, but Luke will not let this one slide. As Seb would say, his driver in Division 3, what can he do? What can he do to keep this gap under as Eric gets into the DRS gap once again? I believe DRS will be enabled next lap, but he's going in and out of it. He really doesn't want to lose this DRS advantage because he knows that the driver behind him, Peter Giordano, he came back from Abu Dhabi. He's ready to get this win, but I don't think he'll be able to with the carts ahead of him. But you know, you always got to try, right?
You always
As
got
we
to
have
try, yeah. It's always worth scrapping for those points. Hudson Poole looking to make some moves on his hard tires. He's 4/10 back from the backup Aaron Altmaier. Maxime Beaulieu had actually made the first move on the medium tires on Zarkia before he spun. We were on board with that while it was going on. Eric Carvalho in DRS range currently of Luke Locklear by the skin of his teeth. There's a yellow in Sector 2. Not sure what that's about. That's Marc-Olivier Bastien. Not sure what's going on there. Let's hop on with Era. Is he going to keep DRS on Luke? The gap is now over
Freddie
1
Russell's
second.
past Carl Behrens. Passed quite easily with the Haas, and he's going to chase after Peter Giordano now. You know, with the pace we're seeing from Freddie Razzle, I'm not excluding the fact that we may see a Freddie Razzle podium in here. He's gotten so much faster than he was in, say, Season 4, for example. He barely finished any races in Season 4. But he's going to be making sure that he's going to finish this race and finish it highly as Lights leaves the session and goes into the pits. I wouldn't want to see maybe a rage quit, but he's definitely last now. As has Marc-Olivier Bastien come back in the session? Looks like he has. He's fine.
Not sure. Yeah, he's
But
currently in P18 on those 12-lap old hards. We're on with Cody Lawrence, who's got a 3/10 gap now. Sorry to the driver in front of him, Jason Pelter, who all of a sudden now, Jason Pelter, who's in P19, P18 in lap 2 and 3 of this race, is now up in P7 on the right tire strategy. So great recovery on the way so far from Jason Pelter. The DRS train from about P4 all the way down to P16. Tucker McCamick, if those gaps can stick later on. So we'll try to hop in and see some moves. Jason Pelter himself may be in a position to make a move on Carl Behrens once he is within range on the backstretch.
yeah, I'm wondering if Cal's tires will be still good to the end of the race. I mean, I don't know that, and I mean, I do know that they will make it, but I don't know how well they'll be surviving as error. Does he get DRS? Yes, he does on Luke Locklear. Luke Locklear will be shaking his boots once again. Saw Cal a few laps ago, right behind him. Now he sees Eric Carvalho in the blazing fast Alfa Romeo, and I gotta say the engineers in Alfa Romeo, they must be giving him Era quite the hurry up because he's been in P3 for so long now. I mean, sure, it's a good result, but when you're in a position like this, you need to be going faster as Cody Lawrence makes some moves on Jason Pelter, and the two Alpines are very close together now. As actually Aaron Allmeyer might make a move down the inside of Klinsmann. He doesn't, but makes Colin Edwards lock up quite a bit as Era is getting closer and closer into this DRS zone. And everyone is so close, even Hudson Poole on the weaker tire arguably has made up more of a gap than anyone here. He's into P11 right now. He might be looking at a move here into this corner where you don't normally see an overtake on Aaron Allmeyer. Goes down the inside. Will Aaron try to keep it going?
Does it!
He does.
Wow, he stole P10 from Aaron. There's a yellow in Sector 2. I wonder if that caused something.
Yeah,
Glock in the
Joaquin
runoff by right before Castle. There's a Haas of Zarky. Lights just rejoined the session. That's got to be damage for Glock as he's in there. So Hudson Poole in P10. His recovery race is on board. We see Cody Lawrence now in the medium tires, now in P7. And he's going to start to carve up these higher tire runners. You're talking about Freddie being on the right tire strategy. I think that Cody as well could be in a position for a podium if he can manage his tires effectively, because he's got 43% battery. Carl's flashing ahead of him. He's going to start taking a car every lap or two.
Yeah, look at the speed difference in the straight line. He's going to have this move so easily around the outside, and with these newer tires, I think he'll just be able to make it quite easily. As around the outside he goes, Carl does try to defend a little bit, but it's not enough as he has to concede to Cody Lawrence. And
Yeah.
maybe we can see him come back against Cody Lawrence because he gets about the same exit, but Cody has that DRS somehow, and that is enough to keep the McLaren at bay. As the two Alpines are still right behind them, they're in good point scoring positions here. As that's kind of where the action ends for this lap at least. But I think it will come back very soon because we have Luca very close to the back of Maxime Bolio, and I've seen him made moves in positions that you don't normally see, and maybe we could see it once again.
Yeah, he's right on the gearbox of Hudson Pool is Aaron Altmaier. Both Aston Martins working to storm their way back to the front of the field. Cody Lawrence already within DRS range of the house of Freddie Rozelle. Again, he's on the medium tire, so he's got to make them last another 10 laps. It'll be 16 laps on the medium compound. Really tough, to say the least. Aaron Altmaier now 6 tenths rather, behind Hudson, but Hudson is on, and there's a safety
Oh,
car.
full safety car.
There's
For
a full
what?
safety car. There's been another incident somewhere. I can't quite see.
I'm gonna check all the cars for front wing damage. Um, I'm not seeing any front wing damage so far.
No, interesting. We'll have to see what kind of caused that incident. I don't see any really shuffling of places either at first
I
glance. So there's a safety car. So a big winner here is going to be Marc-Louis Bastien. If he can come in and get those medium tires back on, then he can work on a little bit of a recovery himself. Cal comes into pit.
Luke Locklear does as well.
A lot of
They're
guys
going
come
down
into
to
the
the
pit.
soft tire. No, they're going down to the mediums. Is Luke Locklear at least?
Maybe the second set of mediums.
Cal into the mediums as well. We have Era staying out into the lead of the race as Cody Lawrence also stays out. Carl Behrens, Jason Pelcher all staying out as Maxime is also out and staying out. As Ryan Newton DNFs from the session. He's going way
Oh,
too fast in the pit lane, and what has gone on here?
wow. Yeah, I saw him get the speeding penalty, and then all of a sudden he DNF'd. So Luke Locklear now in P8, but he's on fresh mediums. Cal on fresh mediums. He is kind of within lead of the race, but I mean, he's only got 6 laps fresh for tires. He can certainly make it to the end, but there's going to be some traffic there, and I think his problems aren't going to be Cody, Maxime, and Luca. It's going to be Carl, Pelter, and Era if he can't make those moves happen quickly, because as the race goes on, they'll kind of be on similar tire wear.
I'm actually thinking now that Cody Lawrence has his medium tires on. He's been all over the grid today. He's been in P6, he's been P20 even starting. Now he's P2. He's got fresher tires than all the cars around him down to P7. I mean, I think he's in a very safe position here. Unless maybe Maxime can get this on Cody Lawrence. But preserving his tires through the safety car is what he's going to do. And I have to say, it wasn't intentional, but great strategy from Ferrari and Cody Lawrence today.
Yeah, great strategy so far. Easier to stretch the more safety car laps you have. I know this track can kind of be a beast for tire wear, so we're taking a look at those gaps. Some guys trying to burn a little bit more fuel. Use those lower gears on the safety car laps to try to lighten up your car a little bit. Marc-Louis Bastien hopefully closing up that gap to make something of his current P16 location, but most everybody in front of him is on similar tire strategy. Duncan up to P14 in the Red Bull, Hudson Pool up to P12.
I mean, this track is so difficult to make up time under safety car, especially if you have a car such as Lights, who's not in the session, um, who has to catch up to the safety car. I'd say we're at least going for another lap. But, I mean, I have to talk about Ryan Newton. Well, I mean, I think that's just a classic rage quit there because, you know, getting the penalty and immediately retiring right after. I mean, that's just, yeah, you can't really say much more. I mean, I would have gotten mad too, but he needs to know that you can never give up here.
Yeah,
As we have, yeah, go ahead.
sorry to say, looking in the paddock real quick, Ryan Newton with some technical difficulties, had some screen freezes on his end, and Lights is unable to get back in the car. So Lights has been trying to rejoin and is unable to. Um, really, really difficult for those drivers so far. It's an unfortunate end to their night in Baku. Era in the lead. Cody Lawrence behind him on 8-lap-old medium tires. Carl Behrens, Jason Pelter, Maxime Beaulieu round out the top 5. The two Mercs, Luca Marudius and Luke Locklear in P6 and P8. They are split by Cal in P7.
Yes, great race so far. I just have to say this has been a race with its ups and downs. I think we've had 2 safety cars now, and actually we had a virtual safety car as well, so
We did.
just a lot of action going on so far in this race. The safety car will definitely be in this lap, but we will see as we have Era actually to take us into this restart, and we'll be on board with, not Era, but we'll be on board with Cody Lawrence, I think would be the best thing to do because he'll be the one chasing down Era. He has the most to gain from this situation here, as do all the other cars behind him on fresh tires, and we'll have a great race on our hand for this last couple of laps here.
Now, presumably, Era will start to back the pack up a little bit here as the safety car's in, right? Get as much space as he can to try to make a run. Where do you think this crossover point is, Nathan? I mean, 8-lap-old mediums, 8-lap-old hards. It's got to be somewhat soon, right? Where they'll start to be similar. I'm wondering how difficult this move is going to be for Cody, if at all. And then I'm wondering if Era has a shot to make the overtake later in the race.
I mean, I don't know if there will be a crossover point. They're so close together. We have 8 laps remaining in this race. Mediums tires can definitely make it, as can the hards, of course. As well, Era.
Oof.
I mean, he's getting so close.
I know. They are right on each other.
As there he goes, and what a great start, and maybe not too great of one for Cody Lawrence, but he's dumping the battery. Now he's going as fast as he can down the straight. He won't be able to make it, but Jason Pelcher will. Maybe around the outside of the McLaren of Carl Behrens. Oh, they're going 3 wide into turn 1.
A little bit of a lockup.
Will we see any contact? No, we won't.
Carl!
As Carl Behrens is around.
There's an incident. He's off. We were on with Luca, and we saw Carl go straight up into the wall. Yellow in Sector 1. Poor Carl finds himself in P18 now after that. Jason Pelter now in a podium position in P3. Cal makes a move on Luke Locklear. He'll take P5, but Luke is not giving it up without a fight. Goes inside into turn 3. Can he fight? He may try a switchback here into turn 4, but no, Cal blocks him off. He's going to try to make it stick. No, Luke gets a better exit, and he'll take P5.
What a great move we just saw from Freddie Razzle as well. 2 cars in 1 go as they make contact.
Oh, Luke gets
Locklear is
spun around. Also, he tumbles down the order.
Yeah, he's still going down the order. As we saw Glock spin around earlier, but Freddie Razzle making up 2 positions on the clumsy Aston Martin and Ferrari of Peter Giordano and Maxime Beaulieu. And what a great move from the Haas driver. He's into P6 where he saw himself before, and he's got all the cars ahead of him on older tires other than Cal, of course. But Cal will be getting a penalty definitely for that incident, as it was just very clear that they just made contact and it didn't go in Luke's favor.
Yeah.
As Luke makes a move on Carl Behrens, what a move as you don't see normally. Carl Behrens definitely does have wing damage on his front left end plate. It's completely gone actually, so Cody Lawrence is so close to the back of Era now. Down the straight, he'll definitely have the move on, and they're both dumping their battery. Era has just a bit more, but he's got that toe, does Cody Lawrence. Will he go down the inside? Will he take the outside line? Will he just not make the move at all? I think he's planning to conserve his battery a little bit and go for this move down maybe in turn 3, or maybe he can wait a bit longer. He might actually get into turn 2 here.
He may. He thought about it for a second. He took a look. I feel like Cody's got a little bit lower of a downforce setup. That straight line speed has been incredible for the Ferrari on the back of Eric Carvalho. It can't just be the better exit speed from the medium tire versus the hard tire compound. Maybe it can, but it certainly looks like there's a setup difference, right? So there's a nice gap here between Freddie and Cal, and a little bit of a DRS train forming already behind Luca Marudius, and all the way down to Marc-Louis Bastien in P13. Brought that Alfa Romeo up a couple spots. Really nice performance so far. He's going to look to probably make some moves on Duncan McCarrick and Aaron Altmaier in the next few laps. Along with Cody. DRS next lap or the lap after?
I believe it's next lap. As Peter Giordano is really putting the pressure on Maxime Beaulieu. He's so close within the castle section, as is Freddie Razzle, as is Cal on Luca Marodius. Will they be able to make the move with Luca now in the DRS of the car ahead? I don't know. We'll have a big DRS train, and that's for sure, but Peter Giordano is the one most likely to make up a position on this JS lap. But I think actually Cody might have a better chance. Because look how close he is. We don't have any yellows in the back, but there's a lot of positions changing in the castle section. That's light on
Cody
Carl Behrens.
Cody in a good position. Freddie Rizal in a really good position. That gap is now just under 3/10. They got a little bit worse of an exit there than Cal going in. It's now up to 4/10, but Cal got a really good exit too. He may look to make a move on Luca here on pure battery. The DRS hasn't kicked in yet. DRS now enabled this lap. So now let's ride on with Luca here as he tries to get on the inside of turn 1. No, he's not going to get it. Luca's battery already down to under 10%. He's going to have DRS going into turn 2. Coming up the gearbox of Cal. Is he going to try to take that position back? We'll see. Luca on 10-lap-old mediums. Cal on 4-lap-old mediums. It's not going to be enough. Luca will have to make that pass another day. Wall fighting off Freddie Rizal.
Yes, I mean, actually we see some on-track action between Cody Lawrence and Eric Carvalho. And Cody will get the better exit. Will he try to go around?
Oh, is that with Hudson Poole, who just spun around and Alpine of Klinsmann? Sorry, we were on with Hudson Poole, and it looks like he tapped the back right rear of Klinsmann, who spun around. He tumbled down to P14. Hudson Poole stays, now in P9. I'm not sure if he has wing damage or not. We'll try to get a glimpse of it here. It looks clean. So the stewards may take a look at it, but Hudson Poole now in P9. A little bit of action here in the midfield to go with the DRS train all the way down to P8.
I have to say, all of these top 8 cars, they're in contention for the win here, because anything can happen. As we saw in D3, we saw 2 cars go around in 1 lap, and we saw 3 cars going around in another. And that's what gave me the podium here, so just anything can happen as Freddie Rizal is getting very close to the back of Luca. He's trying to put the battery on early, trying to get the speed advantage before Luca can.
Yeah,
will he
really
make the move stick?
Exit. He's going to make the pass before DRS, and he should have it, although they might both have DRS, depending on when that detection point was. Let's hop in with Luca.
Here comes Cody Lawrence for the lead of the race. As he does, Cody goes in for the lead of the race. Sorry to interrupt, but Era is going to try to fight this one back into turn 2. Backs out of it. Will he have the DRS? Yes, he will, of course. Will he go on the inside on the straight? I think he will, because he's jumping the battery as much as he can. As Cody doesn't have any battery, he's going around.
He's going to try. Oh, he almost gets to him. Wow.
And that's just simple from the move of Eric Carvalho, as Peter Giordano and Maxime are making a lot of contact in this section. They both have less than 10% battery. That's why their lights are blinking, as Peter's going to get the better exit out of this corner, but he won't be able to maximize it. As, oh, actually Freddie goes a bit wide, but will Luca be able to capitalize? No, he will not. I believe that's actually desync issues. But, oh wait,
the Alpine of Jason Pelter locks up. Sorry, I was hopping on with Freddie right after you're commentating on his moves. Freddie's now up to P4. We hopped in just as Jason Pelter had a little bit of lockup. He's in P6. We'll have to fight with the Aston Martin and the Ferrari. Freddie is in a great position here, man. I'm going to shut up now. I don't want to jinx anything, but we're watching Cody Lawrence on the back of Eric Carvalho on the 12-lap-old medium tires. He might start to feel the tire wear now. A position that we're not used to seeing Cody in is one where he's behind on battery. Cody with 20%. Era, after burning a little bit, is up to 30.
This Cal might actually make a move on Cody Lawrence. Look at the speed advantage he's got on P2.
Yeah,
you can see the win right in front of him. They'll go side by side into turn 1, going around the outside. Is Cal, will he be able to make the move stick? Yes, he will.
I think he will.
Freddie's made contact with the wall, I think. He doesn't have any damage, but he's definitely going to be hampered a bit by that. He's out of this DRS train now. But Cody has lost a position in a place where he normally should have gained one. As Cal is going for the lead of the race now. He's dumping all the battery he's got. He's got 3% now. Will he go down the inside? Yes, he will. What a move.
Oh, wow. Incredible move that almost compromised the Alfa Romeo, but he gets a better exit coming off the inside, and he's going to go around turn 4 and take the lead of the race. Cal loses a little bit of speed on the exit, but
they made contact.
No, it was better. It was a little bit of contact. He spun him around. We were on with Cal as he spun him around. Heartbreak for Era.
Cody into the lead of the race.
As he tumbles down, he's past his teammate now.
Yes, Cody's into the lead of the race as Freddie Rizal is making so much contact with the back of Cal. Will he be able to make it stick? No, he will not. as all these cars are shuffling around in positions now. Will he be able to make the win happen today? Cody Lawrence, he's made so much defensive moves, so many overtakes. Will he be able to keep this? Will Freddie Razzle maybe take it away from Cal? Because Cal will definitely get multiple penalties here. As Maxime Bolio is getting overtaken by Hudson Poole, the great recovery drive from the Red Bull. With a little bit of a love tap. It does not matter. I mean, we've got a bunch of cars stuck
Another
together
yellow
as
in sector 2. It looks like a McLaren and an Alpine. Joaquin Torres having a little bit of trouble getting through the castle section. Cody Lawrence in the lead of the race, courtesy of Cal, spinning out my boy Eric Carvalho. The stewards are going to have a field day with the AlphaTauri driver following this race. Freddie Rizzo with a nice gap as well. This thing is tight. Is Cal going to make the move on Cody Lawrence? He is, and he's going to do it with ease.
Yeah, he's going to have all the space in the world that he needs. That's another yellow flag for Joaquin Torres. As will Cody Lawrence be able to cut back on this second straight here? I know Freddie Razzle will be so close as Hudson
had an incident. Hudson had an incident. Sorry to interrupt. Hudson had an incident and lost like 5 spots. He's now behind Eric Carvalho. I'm trying to hop in with the driver who could just see where he's at.
Hudson Poole is out of the session. He's retired the car. It will not be a safety car.
We'll see if it's a safety car. Marc-Louis Bastien trying to make a move on Maxime Bollier around the outside. Oh, a little bit of contact there. I hope he doesn't have wing damage. We'll have to see, but he's recovered really nicely out of the AI trying to screw him over. He's back in P8. Carl Barron's the fastest lap. He's on soft tires at the rear of the field with 141.2. Closest battles on track is here. This Alfa Romeo pushing on the Aston Martin of Maxime Bollier into Castle section. Peter Giordano also putting pressure on Jason Pelter. There'll be a scrap here going in the next lap.
And another great fight that we're having right now is Luke Locklear and Duncan McCann. We've seen that these two have had many incidents in the past and taking each other out on multiple occasions. But will Luke Locklear be able to make a move on Duncan McCann? He's got the rage and he's maybe tapped a bit of the Red Bull in the back. As Freddie Razzle is actually in a move-making position here. He's going for P2. Will he be able to make the move stick? I think he will. He's got DRS, he's got the battery. Cody Lawrence backs off just a little bit, gives room to Freddie Razzle. And now, here's the big question. Will Freddie Razzle be able to win this race? He's got Cal ahead of him, arguably the faster driver, but he's got all the DRS that he needs to win this race. We'll see the gap go down and keep going down. As Peter Giordano is very, very close to the back of Jason Pelter, but does not matter because Jason has the DRS advantage. As we have a yellow flag, that's for, I think, Carl Burns now.
Yeah, we're on with Jason Pelter, who's quietly back up to P5. His tires are fine. Luca Meridius and Cody Lawrence, perhaps those tires are starting to give way. I wonder if Peter Giordano is going to be able to make a move as Marc-Louis Bastien makes it on Maxime Bollier. He'll take P7.
Yeah, I believe they're both French-Canadian. I'm not too sure, but they were definitely going at it in Baku here. As Freddie Razzle is still making ground on Cal. Will he be able to get close, though, to the back of Cal? And will he be able to make the overtake? He has about 3 chances left to make this move happen.
Aston Martin on Aston Martin crime. Sorry to interrupt, but Aaron Hallmeyer just made the pass on Maxime Bollier right before the castle section. Really tough spot to make a pass, but he made it stick. Aaron Hallmeyer up to P8, Maxime Bollier in P9, and he's looking at Klinsmann in the rearview mirror, trying to make a little something out of his race. Quietly, Alpine currently sitting P5 and P10.
Yeah, and looking in the mirror, speaking of which, is Cal. He's so close. It's Freddie Razzle. He's dumping the battery for this straight, and he knows that this is one of the last overtaking opportunities that he has. He's going to have the DRS on this straight. Will it be close enough? He's gaining just a little bit of time without the DRS, but he'll gain a lot of time now with the DRS advantage. I think we'll see a move maybe into turn 3, unless Freddie Razzle can send it, but I don't think he'll be able to send it down into turn 1, as turn 3 is going to be one of his last overtaking opportunities here. We'll stay on board with Freddie Razzle as we have Luke Locklear making
losing
a lot of positions.
Yeah, Luke Locklear had an incident. We'll find out where he is. He's now on the back of Eric Carvalho, who had been spun out, who's putting a lot of pressure on Duncan McCann. Let's hop in with Eric. Eric gets spun around again. Eric spun around by the Merc of Luke Locklear. We'll look into that, but frustrating turn of events to say the least. Havoc being caused by the top teams so far in Division 1.
Yeah, and still we have to focus on this fight for the lead because it is the fight for the lead as Jason Pelcher is getting closer and closer to Luka Merodius. And Freddy, he's 6'10". Can he make it up in the corners? I know that he has a corner-sided setup because that's where he's been quickest. Can he gain enough time through castle section? The line difference is so different. 3/10. That's so close, and he needs to keep that 3/10 gap
He's
within each
got to
other.
keep
I
that
think
3/10. He is draining his battery. We got a ton of battles looking to go on to the last lap. So Cal looking to cement the win. There's a yellow in sector 1. It's another McLaren. Coming across
that's all
turn 1.
right.
We're on with Freddie Rizal. Cal looking to come across the line first for a win that may or may not stick, depending on how the stewards view his tactics in the race. Freddie Rizal 5/10. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
He won't have it. So
We're
that's
on
going to
board
be
with-
Kel, your race winner for Division 1. The Division 3 driver, the Division 3 champion, wins the race in Baku City as Freddie Razzle comes home, as Jason Pelcher makes a move on Luka Merodius
Yeah, he made
on
it
the
stick.
last straight. It was 700th of a second, and that was enough for the Alpine driver as Luke still drops down positions here, and Mercedes,
Luke did that on
they were looking
purpose.
so good.
Luke just gave Era P13 after the spin out. It is not going to stop the ticket from being submitted. But Era takes P13 after an eventful race. Marc-Louis Bastien, his teammate, takes P7 after an eventful race for him. Something noticeably absent, no track limit penalties for anyone on track. We'll see where the ticketing ends up. I have a feeling that the front half of the race may shuffle a little bit based on the stewards taking a review, but the McLarens have yet to kind of just finish up their lap here. And P16 and P70 is looking promising for them for quite a while. They were in the front for a bit. But an eventful race to say the least here in Baku, man. That was something.
Yeah, that was truly something. I wish we would have seen a photo finish for the lead, but Freddie Razzle just wasn't quick enough. But with all the spins that Cal produced today with other drivers, I think that he'll definitely have the win and by quite a big margin. Because that's two spins that cost a lot of positions, and that can drop him down very far. But so far, on track, our race winner, Cal.
Yep, trying to get these guys into the booth here. It was Kyle Blevins, it was Freddie Rizal, and in P3, I believe, was Cody Lawrence. They know the drill. We'll get these guys in for interviews. Man, that was crazy.
Yeah, we've had
That
our ups
was
and downs
crazy.
in this race. We had the Alfa Romeos in P2 and P3, and now I have no idea where they finished. But it's just been a wild race. Luke Locklear was leading, and now he's 14th, so that just shows you what can happen in a span of 20 laps here. 26 laps around Baku City.
Yeah, it was just an incredible turn of events here. So, Cal so far the race winner, followed by Freddie Rizal, Cody Lawrence round out the podium. Jason Pelter with a nice top 4. Luca Merodius, Peter Giordano, Marc-Louis Bastien, Aaron Altmaier, Klinsman, and Duncan McCamick round out your top 10. Maxime Beaulieu in P11, Zarky, Era, Luke Locklear round out the top 14. So we'll keep everybody posted on the standings and how these all get updated throughout the race. But in the meantime, we are going to switch over to interviews, and we will get ready to pull in P3. Oh, okay, hold on. Ryan Newton's in the waiting room, but he was not P3. We'll try to get Cody in here as well. But let's bring in Freddie Rizal here. Bring him in now. Freddie,
Hello,
welcome to the
hello.
interview, man. What an
Oh.
outstanding race. You killed it on this track. You told me before you were nervous. Something turned. How'd you get your confidence here, and what was going through your head tonight?
There was no confidence at all.
Really?
Honestly, I just tried to hope for the best. I didn't even think I'd get top 10. Because I don't know, I really struggled with grip. Last few races, and I don't know. With these D1 drivers, it's really hard to like overtake. Then D3, D2 from last season, and which I like about because it's more fun. It's more well, I mean, I'd say it's more dangerous, as I'm sure there'll be a lot of penalties during this week. But no, I'm just proud of myself, because I've came such a long way, I'd say, because I only had a wheel like 6 months ago, and
Yeah.
that's when I actually properly like focusing on the game because I don't really care. I just did it for fun. But yeah, I'm really enjoying D1 at the moment.
Yeah, you could be in line for the win if various tickets get submitted um, around some of the guys in the front. Would that be your first ZRL win? Certainly your first D1 win, yeah?
It would be my third win. I've got 2 wins before, too many podiums, and honestly, I'm just so proud.
Yeah, Nathan, I'll hand it over to you, man. What do you got?
Best British driver in the league, eh?
Yeah, who's Buzzgod? Who's Dougie Falcons? Luca Mara Diaz, not even Brit.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Freddie, man, we'll let you go. Good luck here with everybody, everything that kind of pans out. We'll see. Um, but congratulations, could be in order, man. Nice job today.
No, cheers. Thank you. Thank you for the broadcast.
All right, I'm going to bring in Cody Lawrence here in P3. Oh, there we go. Okay. Cody, how's it going, man? Congrats. Last to almost first. You finished in P3. Great to see you on track again with us. How do you feel about Baku? Is this another one of your favorites? It was good to see you here.
I mean, from last week. I mean, I like to say it's one of my favorites. I'm just not very good at it, but I had not felt that uncomfortable in a race in like 3 years. I was giving up like 10 meters on the brakes every single braking zone because I just felt super uncomfortable. I like trimmed out the car from the setup that I had that I made. I made like in a 25% race lobby. It was so scuffed. I just was trying to bring home some points, and you saw what happened there, at least.
Yeah, lot of events to say the least. I'm actually surprised you ended up with a P3. Really great performance there. For a while on the tire strategy, I mean, we were curious about it when you didn't go in on the second safety car. Did you have to nurse those things to get to the end of the race, or did you really have no problem going 16 laps?
No problem going 16 laps. I had pretty high tire pressure because I know you could do that at Baku. It's a low temperature circuit, so you could run higher pressure. And to be honest, I needed an ace in the hole to have a shot in that one. And you saw me stay on that second safety car. It's like, if I pit, I'm not coming back through the field. I need to get track position. I got the track position. I needed to overtake Era. I tried to get him into 1, but he got me back into 3. And that was probably my one shot to maybe hope Eric could back up the pack behind me, and maybe I'd get enough of a gap to hang on. But just not good enough for me. Like I said, not very comfortable, and I just tried to make the best of it. And best of it was just 1, maybe 2 spots away. I'm not sure what will happen with Kyle or Cal, but congrats to Raz. Good job to him. He's facing backwards after turn 2. He did the proper comeback. I started at the back, but he really went to the back and had to drive his way back through. So, well done to him.
Yeah, thanks, Cody. Before I let you go, Nathan, you have anything before we let in Kyle?
Thanks for scoring points for Ferrari. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. I tried. One more spot like last week. I want 2 more this time, but for having no expectations, I think I'll take that. Honestly.
Cody, thanks so much. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk
Thank
to you
you
soon.
for having me. You as well. Thank you.
All right, we're bringing Kyle here. And Nathan, I'll let you take lead because I may be a little bit biased, a little bit salty about how this ended. Kyle, welcome to the booth, man. Congrats on what currently is P1.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Alright.
Appreciate it.
All
I'll
right.
probably get like a 3 or 5 second penalty for the era thing. So I don't know if Freddie will have any tickets, but
Didn't you spin around another car though at the start of the race? I think it was Luke Locklear. Or was it
Yeah,
something else?
so I was streaming the race, and like people were watching my point of view, and you can see that he dive bombed the corner,
Hmm.
and he put me off the track and into the like next turn, which is it's that really tight left right.
Mhm.
That's where contact was made because he hit me and I couldn't stop. So I
Dude,
hit
it
the
would-
curb, yeah. So that'll be an interesting one. If anything, he'll also get a penalty for the lap 1 incident, and then
I,
Era
I,
also got me on lap 2.
I think
So
the
we'll see how
stewards
all
are
that
gonna
goes.
have they're gonna have a
There'll be
field day.
about like 30 tickets, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Incidents aside, Cal, dude, you had incredible pace throughout the entire race. This one of your favorite tracks? I mean, you were at the front pretty much the entire time.
I actually
Um,
had wing damage the whole
really?
time. Yeah, I had hit the wall into the pits
So
on
you
my
hit the
first
wall
stint.
and then you had them not change the wing, right? So was it
Well,
significant? Like you talking about like
yeah,
lime green or what?
it was like the 15% damage or whatever, is the
Okay.
lightest possible, but it was on the left side, and then I hit another car at some point after that, and that gave it the right side. So each side had like the smallest amount of damage. It
That's
was
almost
enough
better.
for
That is
yeah.
balanced.
Yeah, I know it was
Yeah.
balanced out almost, but I could feel it for sure. It was probably slowing me up by a couple tenths.
Well, dude, I mean, look, currently in P1, there's no doubt about it. You had incredible pace today. You're in line for the race win. Um, Next week, I believe we're in France. How do you feel about that, man? Do you think you got a shot at another podium?
I think so. I mean, tonight's my first race without my arm brace on
Oh,
because
for real?
yeah, so I got it off this week. So this is my first race with it off. So hopefully that the pace can keep up with having my other hand free now finally. So
I mean, yeah, if it's any indication that I think you're going to be one of the top drivers to contend with here, uh, pretty much for the rest of the season. Um, yeah, Kyle, really appreciate you coming in. Outstanding performance today. Yeah, before I let you go, Nathan, you got anything else, or what do you think?
Just good job. And Marino told me to tell you that he's Italian, not Hungarian or Mexican. But you know,
okay,
he's
I'll
Mexican.
make I'll make sure I get that fixed on the next one, right?
All right. Oh, don't forget, Ireland's flag is pretty similar, so maybe take that.
Gotcha. I
Yeah,
might just make my own flag. I don't know.
yeah, might as
'Cause
well.
yeah, we'll see.
You should do the Italian flag, but put a K-A-N-L on each color.
True. Could do that.
Top
Alright, get out of
storyline going
here.
into next week is which flag is next to Marino's name
Which flag will be on
in
Marina's
France,
name?
right? So we'll keep
Alright.
everybody updated here. Cal, I'm gonna let you go. Congrats, man, on the win. We might see you in the booth next week, and
Hopefully.
yeah, good luck.
Appreciate it, guys.
Nathan, man, look, I appreciate you stepping in. It was great to have you in booth today. I think it was outstanding. Um, Race-wise, that was about as exciting and eventful as a race we've had at ZRL.
I mean, yeah, Baku always produces good action, and we've had good action all across all these divisions, so I'd say that we had a great weekend here. Thank you for watching this weekend, and yeah, we'll see you next week at France.
Yeah, we'll sign off. Next week is France. John Ranger will be back. I will actually be off next week and rejoining you guys a few weeks later in Monaco. So round 5 next week at Circuit de Paul Ricard. I'm Buffalo Trace. Thanks for joining us.